Start your week with a triple shot of good vibes. This is the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thanks for joining me. Happy Monday, everyone. And now it's time for this week's story of joy. This is a big one today. Now, I'm not talking about my children again. We're not going to go there again. I know the last couple of weeks, that's all I've talked about. However, this week I am super excited because this is something that is very personal to me. Today is actually the second birthday of the Breakthrough Show. I can't believe it because I'm not really sure where the last 2 years have gone. It feels like, honestly, yesterday, well, it's kind of twofold. It feels like it was just yesterday that I was planning it and trying to figure out what to do, but it also doesn't. It also feels like we've come such a long way because the breakthrough is so different from when it first started. And so for anybody that's listening to this on podcast, that's like, okay, well, what's the breakthrough? Maybe it's your first time listening. So I started a talk show back in 2018. We had our first episode July 6th, 2018. And called it the Breakthrough Show. I thought wanted to do something that is a talk show that is like The View but less drama, and wanted to talk about some hot topics in the personal and spiritual development world. Wanted to interview amazing guests to talk about their breakthrough moments, and I wanted to I honestly set out to do, to have it be just something fun. And I didn't realize the impact it would have then. I didn't realize that I would enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed it. I didn't realize the huge learning curve it was going to be to learn the technology and to learn how to organize myself so I could pull off something like that, to organize bringing people together. When the show first started coming out, it was a live show, and that was something it was like a constant juggling act to try to pull that off, because at the time we had several panelists that would be on every single episode and live every single Friday, plus a guest. So it was like juggling several different mediums at once is the best way I can describe it. So, when you see a juggler, typically they're juggling just balls or just scarves or just flaming torches. Well, this was like trying to juggle a flaming torch, a ball, and a scarf, and probably a live alligator or something like that. I did not understand while it was all going on, the effort that it was taking. I was sort of oblivious or naive to really what I was doing or the kind of energy and effort it was taking. And so when I started having some health issues, or I should say when the health issues that I had started ramping up, if you will, last year, and I made the decision to make the show recorded and to bring down the number of people on each episode. It was the hardest decision that I've really had to make, because the format of the show as it was something that was really important to me. And so I was scared going into the season, thinking this isn't going to be the same. People aren't going to watch anymore. It's not going to be as good live. It's not going to be as good with as many people. And I really, really was not very kind to myself. I was not very kind to myself for what I had built and the kind of amazing people that I had brought together at that point. And so as we sit here today for the second anniversary, or the second birthday of the Breakthrough Show, and looking at the list of incredible people who have been on the show, thinking about how amazing this season has gone. It has well exceeded my expectations, for the guests, for the content, for how it has come off. It's never been without issue. It's never been without challenge. It's never been without, like I said, that extreme learning curve every single week. But it lights me up. I dream about where the show can go, and I dream about the direction it's on, and I dream about the amazing people that have been and will be to come on the show. And it still lights me up to this day, thinking about and knowing all of the private messages that I have received. Because look, we can see the likes, the comments, the shares on the show. Um, but those messages that I receive that say, oh, like I just needed this show today, or I this show has changed my life, or this guest has changed my, just listening to the story makes me feel not alone. It's all of those messages that I continue to get all of the time that keep me going. And it's the incredible connections that we made, and it's reaching out to those people that have been a part of the show, and continuing the relationships, continuing the conversations, bringing people together. That's what lights me up. That's what keeps me going. And that's what brings me so much joy every single day. So I want to really just bask in this space of gratitude today, if you will, for all the people, all the amazing people who have watched the show, if you're a fan of the show, all of the amazing people who have been on the show, whether you've been a panelist or a co-host or an entertainer or a special guest interview. I am beyond grateful this morning, and I want you to know that so much of my joy includes you, and I'm so appreciative. So we're going to be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast. What's up, everyone? It's Jessica here, your host of the Project Joy podcast and, of course, The Breakthrough Show. I want to take a moment and thank all of our supporters here at the show. With your financial support, we are able to expand the show and reach more people with the hopes of inspiring our audience members to change their lives for the better and know they are supported during times of breakthrough. We welcome our one-time contributions to our show by sending a PayPal to business@thebreakthroughshow.com, or you can join us at patreon.com/thebreakthroughshow, where you'll be rewarded for your regular contribution with things like our exclusive community, Soul Connection Collective, merchandise discounts, fun shoutouts on the show, and more. On behalf of everyone here at The Breakthrough Show and its network, we thank you for your generous support. And now back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I am so excited to be here with you today on the Breakthrough Show's second birthday. So happy birthday, Breakthrough Show, to my little baby. Is 2 years old. Really, really exciting and fun today. And I love that the Project Joy podcast is now a part of the Breakthrough Show Network, because I think this is where it's needed to be all along. Because so much of the Breakthrough Show has been about bringing joy to people, and I love that I can do this podcast with you guys live now every Monday morning between 7 and 8 a.m. Central Time. It just depends, guys, on when I get up and when I can slap my lipstick on. So that's when we get here. So we're at episode 25 today, and we're talking about joy in freedom, because we had, so I guess today is July 6th when I'm recording this. So 6 days ago, it was Canada Day. 2 days ago, it was the 4th of July here in the United States. And so it's a great time to talk about joy and freedom. And I want to start with such a huge reminder and the heart of what I want to discuss today, because this has been an unprecedented 4th of July. And I want to preface all this by saying that I'm in the United States, so I'm going to refer to the 4th of July, but please feel free to refer to this to whatever independence kind of celebration you might have wherever you live. But this has been an unprecedented time, and we've never we've never in my lifetime celebrated a 4th of July like we did a couple days ago, with everything that there is going on in the world. And what a beautiful time it is to remember that freedom lies within us, and that oftentimes we take a lot of the freedoms that we do have for granted. We're quick to point fingers of saying, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, and make that laundry list of things that we feel like we can't do. And really, so much of it comes down to that internal freedom. And just like we do with joy, just like we do with love, just like we do with happiness, purposely, intentionally taking the time to look at the freedoms that we do have, and at the same time saying, how can we enjoy more freedom? How can we enjoy more freedom in our lives? And I feel very, like I said, despite a lot of the things that are going on in the world, I still feel very grateful for where I am, for where I live. Um, I feel very, I feel very free for the things that I get to choose in my life. And I think that there's so many things, like I said, that I have taken for granted from time to time, and I know a lot of people have, as far as freedom is concerned. And so one of the things that's so amazing for me today, as we're talking about joy and freedom, is the freedom that I have had to create the kind of business that I've wanted, and to change that up as on a whim. I've talked about on the show before that I am very Aquarius, and I actually made a whole post about this yesterday on my LinkedIn, because I'm very Aquarius in that I want to change the world. I want to make the world a better place. And unfortunately, I guess unfortunately, sometimes it's a good thing to be able to stop, drop, and roll. But Aquarians are part of the air sign family in astrology, and we tend to be a little more aloof. We tend to be a little like, oh, shiny thing, go. You know, and so when something loses its excitement, when something isn't top of mind anymore, when we lose our passion for something, it can be really easy for us as Aquarians to go next, which, like I said, can be a really good thing, because if we're committed to following our passion, we don't want to stay with things that are not we're not passionate about anymore, right? But it also can be something where we can give up a lot more quickly. And so, because it's like, for Aquarians, it's like, don't put me in a box. Don't tell me that I have to do XYZ for however long you say I have to do it, you know? And, so the idea that I have stuck with something like the Breakthrough Show for 2 years is huge. It's a big deal for me, but because typically it's like I'll do something for a couple of months and I'll go, oh, next. And there's amazing joy in that freedom. However, there's so much even more freedom that comes with doing something that you're passionate about and that you're fired up about and you're excited about, because you can because you can stay with that. You can allow that sort of the embers to grow, the fire to burn brighter, right? And so, and as you stick with something, and as it grows, and as you get more excited about it, it brings more freedom, because you're talking about more money. You're talking about more of the ability to delegate and hire, and create more freedom for yourself as far as time. So money, time, and then you've got more energy, and you've got more of the ability to do the things that you want to do in your life. So it's been a wonderful realization of the joy and freedom that I've had to create the kind of business that I desire and the kind of life I desire. I think about that freedom all the time in my life where because we homeschool and we choose to live a certain way, and we live a plant-based lifestyle. We are vegan, and I gave air quotes there for those of you listening on podcast right now. But we it's so all of those things are an element of freedom, of being able to choose how I want. We don't go to traditional church anymore. We study different spiritual things at home with ourselves and with the children, and really engage in spiritual and philosophical conversations at home. And that's such a beautiful freedom as well. And so I would love to hear from you today and know what are some of the freedoms that you celebrate in your life where you are. And really just I want to really quickly say hi, because as we're doing this live this morning, I saw some people coming on and sharing happy birthday to the Breakthrough Show. I want to say hi to Claudette and Heather and Fa as well. And if you're not listening to this live, if you're listening to this on podcast, just a reminder that we are live every Monday morning on the Breakthrough Show Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Breakthrough Show every Monday morning between 7 and 8 a.m. Central Time, or you can stay where you are on podcast and listen on the replay. That's cool too. But I love to give the shout outs as well to everybody that's listening today. I appreciate you. um and so it's really about thinking about all of the freedoms you do have, and if you are not finding joy in freedom, if you feel like you don't have the freedoms you want, we are in such, speaking of Aquarius, we are in the age of Aquarius, we're in the age of change, we're in such a beautiful time for you to stand up and say, let's create more freedom. How can I do that? And let's get involved and do it. It's a beautiful time for that. And also to even take the time, if you feel like you have the freedoms that you want, to take the time to listen to other people who maybe aren't feeling joy and freedom, who maybe aren't feeling free in whatever kind of way, and listen to them. Just take the time to listen. Help them figure out if there's freedom that they have within them that maybe they're not recognizing, and help them maybe stand up with them and help them create the kind of external freedoms that they feel like they're missing, right? I'm really despite it being a very different kind of celebration on 4th of July a couple days ago, it really, again, was a day that we were able to celebrate personal freedoms. We were able to, I was thinking about the breakthrough birthday today, and the kind of life that we've been able to create, and thinking about the fact that a couple months ago we were able to just up and move for a new job for my husband. That was a wonderful freedom to have, because we have created that kind of freedom in our lives. And I would encourage you to create more freedom in your life so you can experience more joy and freedom. We'll be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast. What's up, everybody? It's Jessica here from the Project Joy podcast, and I'm here today to tell you about something that has been completely life-changing for me. Are you tired of trying to get stuff done by yourself? Do you need accountability? Are you ready to finally, not just talk about it, but do it, declutter your space physically, mentally, emotionally, to live the best possible life you are here to live? Then you, my friend, need the BYOC, or Bring Your Own Clutter membership. This membership is run by my friend Heather Clark, and it has been life-changing for me. You need this. You need this in 2020. Join us. Go to declutterforchange.com. And now back to the podcast. Up next week on the Project Joy podcast, we'll be on episode 26, and we'll be talking about joy in achievement. Now, you'd think that finding joy in success and in achievement is something that would be easy, but it's not always the easiest thing for people, because with achievement comes things that are fun, like more responsibility and stuff like that. So it's not always something that can bring us joy, but we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. So please be sure to join us for that. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody who is helping us celebrate the Breakthrough Show's second birthday today. Be sure to tune in at 12 p.m. Central Time for something really special that we're going to be sharing on the Breakthrough Show Facebook page. Again, if you're listening to this on podcast, you want to be sure to go to facebook.com/breakthrough show and check out all of the birthday celebrations going on there today. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about joy in achievement, and I'm really excited to jump into that topic as well. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody watching or listening today. And please take a moment to rate, subscribe, comment, and share where available. We really appreciate it. Until next week, make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time. You've been listening to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. We'll see you again next Monday and every Monday for another episode to start your week off right.